3 weeks after the Battle of Neptune, the sky around Earth's solar system filled with alien ships. Admiral Rebecca Stone counted them from the bridge of her flagship as they emerged from faster-than-light travel. 200 ships. 300. The numbers kept climbing until her computers stopped trying to track them all. This was the Galactic Confederation's real fleet. Every member species had sent their best warships. The crystal beings that humanity had fought before were just one part of a much larger force. Now Stone could see ships that looked like living metal, vessels that seemed to be made of pure energy, and massive constructs that defied easy description. Admiral Commander Jake Morrison reported, his voice tight with stress. Long-range sensors detect over 500 enemy vessels. They're arranging themselves in a battle formation that surrounds our entire solar system. Stone studied the tactical display. Red dots marked alien ships' position from Mercury to beyond Pluto. The Confederation had learned from their defeat at Neptune. This time they weren't taking any chances. In the detention area of the UES Vengeance, Arbiter Zextran sat in its crystal cell. The alien leader had been surprisingly willing to talk during the past 3 weeks. Stone visited it regularly, trying to understand the enemy they were fighting. "Your species fascinates me," Zextran said during one of these visits. "We expected you to surrender after seeing our true strength. Instead, you prepare for a battle you cannot possibly win. Why do you choose extinction over peace?" Stone looked at the alien through the transparent barrier. "Because peace on your terms isn't peace at all. It's slavery with a pretty name," the crystal being tilted its head. "We have brought order to 12 civilizations. Wars have ended. Poverty has been eliminated. Disease and hunger are forgotten. What we offer is paradise. For you, maybe. But humans don't want to live in a cage, even if it's made of gold." Captain Rachel Kim worked frantically in the weapons laboratories on Mars. The battle at Neptune had shown that human technology could hurt the aliens. But the new enemy fleet was different. Her sensors detected energy signatures unlike anything they had seen before. "We need bigger guns," she told her engineering team. The crystal ships were just the beginning. Some of these new aliens have ships that are 50 times larger than our biggest battleships. Her team had been working without sleep for days, building new weapons based on captured alien technology. They had learned to copy some of the Confederation's energy systems, but making them work with human equipment was nearly impossible. Dr. Lisa Carter made a discovery that changed everything. While studying the alien communications, she found something the Confederation had tried to hide. Several species in their alliance were not willing participants. They were conquered peoples, forced to fight for their masters. Admiral Carter reported during the daily briefing, "I've identified at least 4 species in the enemy fleet that are essentially slaves. Their ships are controlled by crystal beings like Zextran. If we could break those control systems, we might turn part of their fleet against them." This was the kind of information that could change a hopeless battle into a fighting chance. Stone immediately ordered Commander Kate Sullivan to focus her intelligence teams on finding ways to disrupt the alien control networks. Lieutenant Colonel Danny Rodriguez trained his expanded Marine force in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. His soldiers now numbered in the thousands, all volunteers who knew they were preparing for the most dangerous mission in human history. "We're not just fighting for Earth," Danny told his troops as they practiced zero-gravity combat among the floating rocks. "We're fighting for the right to be human. The aliens want to turn us into something safe and quiet and harmless. They want to take away everything that makes us who we are." The Marines had studied recordings from the Neptune battle, learning how to fight crystal beings and other alien species. But the new enemy fleet contained creatures they had never seen before. Each species would require different tactics, different weapons, different approaches. Captain Nicole Parker commanded a fleet that had grown larger since Neptune but was still vastly outnumbered. The EU's Defiance led 70 battleships, supported by hundreds of smaller vessels. Every military ship humanity possessed was ready for combat. But Captain Alex Turner had discovered something troubling during his reconnaissance. "Admiral, the alien fleet isn't just planning to destroy our military. They've positioned ships around every human colony, every space station, every mining facility. They're planning to capture our entire civilization intact, Stone realized. What this meant? The Confederation didn't want to exterminate humanity. They wanted to capture and control every human being, to turn Earth's children into another enslaved species in their galactic empire. The final battle began in the asteroid belt, where Stone had positioned her forces among the rocky debris. Was the only place in the solar system where human ships could use terrain for cover against the overwhelming alien numbers. The Confederation attack was methodical and devastating. Ships from 12 different species coordinated their assault, with precision that no human force could match. Energy beams that could melt planets. Gravity weapons that crushed matter into neutron-dense balls. Technologies that Stone couldn't even identify. But humanity had learned something important from their first victory. The aliens expected logical, predictable responses. They prepared for enemies who fought by rules and followed standard military doctrine. Humans didn't fight that way, Captain. Parker split her battleship formation into 12 independent groups, each targeting a different part of the alien fleet. Instead of trying to match the Confederation's coordination, the human fleet fought like a pack of wolves, using speed and unpredictability to attack weak points. Dr. Carter's frequency search proved even more valuable in the larger battle. Human weapons, properly tuned, cut through alien defenses that should have been impenetrable. Ships that outmassed human vessels by 100 to 1 found themselves vulnerable to weapons they couldn't understand. The breakthrough came when Commander Sullivan successfully transmitted override codes to the enslaved species in the alien fleet. 4 different alien races suddenly found their ships free from Confederation control. Some fled the battle immediately. Others turned their weapons against their former masters. High Arbiter Zextran watched the battle through the detention cell's viewing screen, its crystal form growing dimmer as the Confederation forces fell into chaos. Impossible, it whispered. How can one primitive species defeat the combined wisdom of the galaxy? Stone stood beside the alien prisoner, watching human ships punch through the enemy formation toward the Confederation command vessels. Because we're not trying to be wise. We're just trying to be free. The climax of the battle came when Admiral Stone led a direct assault on the Confederation's Supreme Command ship, a massive construct that served as headquarters for all 12 species. The UES Vengeance, now equipped with captured alien technology, fought through multiple defensive lines to reach the enemy leaders. Danny Rodriguez's Marines boarded the alien command ship and fought through corridors, and filled with creatures from a dozen different worlds. Each species required different tactics, but the Marines adapted quickly. Humans had spent millennia learning to fight anything that threatened their survival. The final confrontation took place in the command ship's central chamber, where the leaders of 12 alien civilizations had gathered to oversee humanity's defeat. They found themselves facing human soldiers who had fought their way through their greatest defenses. The Confederation's surrender came not through negotiation, but through simple defeat. Their coordinated fleet dissolved into chaos as species after species chose to retreat rather than continue fighting an enemy they couldn't understand or predict. 6 months later, Admiral Stone stood on the observation deck of Earth's first diplomatic station, watching representatives from dozens of alien species arrive for the galaxy's first free council. The Confederation's monopoly on galactic civilization had shattered completely. High Arbiter Zexthron is now free to leave, but choosing to stay and learn. Worked alongside human diplomats to establish new relationships between species. The Crystal being had finally understood what humans had been trying to tell them from the beginning. Freedom is not about being safe, Zextran said during one of the council sessions. It is about being able to choose your own dangers, humanity had answered. The Galactic Confederation's ultimatum with warships and courage, and the stubborn refusal to accept limitations. In doing so, they had not only won their own freedom, but had broken the chains that bound dozens of other species. The galaxy would never be the same. And throughout the stars, wherever intelligent beings looked up at the night sky, they knew that somewhere out there, a young species called humanity had proven that freedom was worth any price. even war against impossible odds. Earth's children were finally free to take their place among the stars. I think the word impossible had become just another challenge to overcome. The 7 days passed like hours. Admiral Rebecca Stone stood on the bridge of the UES Vengeance, her flagship, as it moved through space toward Neptune. Round her, the largest human fleet ever assembled, prepared for the first battle against an alien enemy. 200 human warships spread out in attack formation. The new Titan-class battleships led the way, their massive guns ready to fire. Behind them came destroyers, cruisers, and assault carriers filled with Marines. Every ship humanity could build or convert had joined the fleet captain. Nicole Parker commanded the U.S. Defiance at the front of the formation. Her battleship was humanity's newest and strongest warship. Its armor could stop energy beams that would melt mountains. Its railguns could fire projectiles faster than most spaceships could travel. Enemy ships detected, reported her weapons. Officer, 57 alien vessels in defensive positions around Neptune, their big admiral, much bigger than our ships. The alien ships looked like floating crystals, all angles and strange curves. They reflected light in ways that hurt to look at. Some were as large as small cities. All ships. This is Admiral Stone. Today we find out what humans can do when someone tries to cage us. Remember your training. Follow your orders. And show these aliens what happens when they threaten Earth's children. Captain Alex Turner had moved his ship, the UES Horizon, into position days ago. His job was reconnaissance, staying hidden and watching the enemy. For weeks he had mapped every alien ship position, identified their command vessels, and studied their movement patterns. Admiral Stone, this is Turner. The enemy flagship is the big crystal structure in the center of their formation. It's called the Unity of Purpose according to our intercepts. Take that ship out and their whole fleet will lose coordination. Stone nodded. The plan was simple and dangerous. While the main fleet attacked the alien defensive line, assault teams would try to capture the enemy command ship. It was the kind of crazy plan that only worked if the enemy wasn't expecting it. Lieutenant Colonel Danny Rodriguez floated in the assault bay of his carrier, checking his Marines one last time. Each soldier wore new armor designed for fighting. In space, their weapons were tuned to the alien shield frequencies that Dr. Carter had discovered. Listen up, Danny told his troops. We're going to board alien ships and fight creatures we've never seen before. Their technology is better than ours. They're probably stronger and smarter than us. But they've never fought humans before. They don't know what we're capable of when we're angry. Aki. The Marines laughed grimly. They had trained for this moment for months. Now they would find out if human determination could beat alien technology. The battle began at exactly noon, Earth time. Captain Parker's used Defiance fired the first shot. A railgun projectile that crossed millions of miles in seconds and struck an alien destroyer. The ship's shields flared and died. The projectile punched through the crystal hull like it was made of glass. The aliens seemed shocked by the sudden attack. For several minutes they didn't fire back. Their ships moved slowly as if they couldn't believe humans had actually chosen to fight. Then the return fire began. Beams of pure energy lanced across space, striking human ships with the power of small stars. But Dr. Carter's research had prepared humanity for this. The new armor on human ships reflected and absorbed the energy weapons. Ships that should have been destroyed kept fighting. Commander Kate Sullivan monitored alien communications from her intelligence station aboard the Vengeance. Admiral, they're confused. I'm picking up transmissions asking why humans aren't surrendering. They really expected us to give up as soon as they started shooting. Stone smiled grimly. They're about to learn something new about human nature. Space around Neptune became a storm of weapons, fire, and explosions. Human ships moved fast and struck hard, using tactics developed from centuries of warfare. The aliens fought more carefully, trying to minimize their losses while using their superior firepower. But humanity had one advantage the aliens hadn't expected. Captain Rachel Kim's experimental weapons worked better than anyone had hoped. Electromagnetic pulse missiles disrupted alien shields and left their ships defenseless. Her plasma torpedoes cut through alien armor like hot knives through butter. The turning point came when Danny Rodriguez's assault teams reached the unity of purpose. The alien flagship was enormous, with corridors wide enough to fly small ships through. But the crystal beings inside had never fought human marines in close combat. The aliens were tall and graceful, their bodies made of living crystal that reflected light in beautiful patterns. They were also completely unprepared for the brutal efficiency of human soldiers. Danny led his team through the alien ship's main corridor, their weapons cutting down any crystal being that tried to stop them. The aliens' energy weapons were powerful, but slow to aim. Human assault rifles were fast and deadly accurate. These things have never been in a real fight, Danny told his troops over the radio. They're used to enemies who follow rules. We don't have rules in war. Meanwhile, Captain Turner used his stealth ship to attack alien vessels from behind. The UES Horizon had been modified with the best human technology for staying hidden. The aliens couldn't detect it until Turner's torpedoes were already hitting their engines. Back on the main battle line, Captain Parker pushed the UES Defiance deeper into the alien formation. Her ship took hit after hit from energy weapons. But the new armor held. Her railguns fired continuously, each shot destroying or crippling an alien vessel. Their shields are failing, reported her weapons officer. Dr. Carter was right about the frequencies. Our weapons are cutting right through their defenses. The battle reached its climax when Danny's Marines reached the bridge of the Unity of Purpose. Arbiter Zextran stood in the center of a crystal chamber, surrounded by other alien commanders. The crystal being looked at the human soldiers with something that might have been surprise. You dare to board our sacred vessel? Zextran asked, its voice ringing like broken bells.
Oh.
Do you not understand that resistance is futile? We represent 12 advanced civilizations. You are one primitive species. Danny stepped forward, his rifle pointed at the alien leader. Yeah, well, this one primitive species just kicked your advanced butts all over Neptune's orbit. The alien looked around, at its fallen guards, then at the human marines who had fought their way through its entire ship. For the first time, Zextran seemed to understand what it was dealing with. Surrender, Danny said simply. Order your fleet to withdraw, or we'll show you what happens to bullies who pick on Earth. As word of the flagship's capture spread through, the alien fleet, the remaining crystal ships, began to pull back. Their coordinated formation fell apart. Some ships fled toward the outer solar system. Others simply stopped fighting and waited to see what would happen next. Admiral Stone watched the tactical display as alien ships retreated beyond Pluto's orbit. The Battle of Neptune was over, and humanity had won. But the cost had been high. 15 human ships were destroyed or badly damaged. Hundreds of good people would never see Earth again. Admiral Commander Sullivan reported, "We're receiving transmissions from the retreating alien ships. They're calling for reinforcements from their home systems. This isn't over." Stone nodded. She had expected this. Defeating one alien fleet was just the beginning. The Galactic Confederation would not accept defeat from what they considered a primitive species. They would send more ships, bigger fleets, deadlier weapons. But humanity had proven something important today. They had shown that human courage and determination could stand against alien technology. They had answered the Confederation's ultimatum. With fire and steel and the blood of heroes, High Arbiter Zextran now sat in a detention cell aboard the UES Vengeance, its crystal form dim with defeat. The alien leader kept asking the same question over and over. How had one species defeated the combined might of 12 civilizations? Admiral Stone had a simple answer. The aliens had made one crucial mistake. They had threatened humanity's children. Among the stars and humans would fight anything to protect their family. The real war was just beginning. 6 months had passed since the aliens told humanity to stay home. 6 months of the hardest work in human history. Admiral Rebecca Stone stood on the observation deck of the new Mars shipyard, watching sparks fly as workers built the largest warships humanity had ever imagined. The alien ships still waited at the edge of the solar system. They hung in space like sleeping giants, scanning everything humans did with their strange technology. Sometimes they sent messages asking for humanity's surrender. Stone had stopped reading them weeks ago. Down on the construction floor, Captain Rachel Kim walked between the massive machines that shaped metal into weapons of war. She had been a peaceful engineer before the aliens came. She used to build bridges and space stations. Now she built things designed to kill. The railgun is ready for testing, her assistant told her. The young man looked tired. Everyone looked tired these days. We can fire a projectile at 10% of light speed, Rachel nodded. Good, but we need better. The alien ships have energy shields. Our bullets have to hit so hard and so fast that their defenses can't stop them. She walked to the next station where teams worked on missiles. These weren't like the old weapons humans used to fight each other. These carried special warheads designed to disrupt alien technology. Dr. Carter had spent months figuring out how alien shields worked. Now Rachel's team was building weapons to break them. On Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, Lieutenant Colonel Danny Rodriguez trained the first space marines in human history. His soldiers practiced fighting in zero gravity in the cold vacuum between planets and inside alien ships where the air might be poison and the gravity might crush them. Remember, Danny told his trainees as they floated in the practice chamber, we don't know what we'll find inside their ships. The corridors might be too small for us. The air might burn our lungs. Gravity might be so strong it breaks our bones. You have to be ready for anything. The Marines practiced with new weapons built specially for fighting aliens. Energy rifles that could cut through unknown metals. Explosives that worked in vacuum. Armor that could protect them from weapons they had never seen. One of the Marines, Sergeant Lisa Park, raised her hand. Sir, what if their ships don't have corridors at all?
Oh, what if they're just big hollow spaces?
Danny smiled grimly.
And then?
We improvise. Humans are good at that. Back on Earth, Dr. Carter made a discovery that changed everything. She had been studying the energy signals from the alien blockade ships for months. Late one night, working alone in her laboratory, she found the pattern she had been looking for. They're using harmonic frequencies. She told Admiral Stone that next morning, their shields vibrate like guitar strings. If we can match the exact frequency, we can make our weapons pass right through their defenses. Stone leaned forward. Are you sure? I've run the calculations 100 times. Their technology is very advanced, but it follows the same physical laws as ours. They're not magic. They can be beaten. The information went out to every weapons factory, every shipyard, every military base. Human engineers worked day and night to retune their weapons to the alien frequencies. It was humanity's first real advantage in the coming war. Meanwhile, Captain Nicole Parker took command of the UES Defiance, the first of the new Titan-class battleships. The ship was 3 times larger than anything humans had built before. Its armor was thick enough to stop atomic bombs. Its weapons could destroy targets from millions of miles away. She's beautiful, Parker said, as she walked through the ship's corridors. Every surface was covered with displays showing the ship's status. Hundreds of crew members ran through final preparations. The Defiance was not alone. All across the solar system, new ships joined the human fleet, were built from scratch like the Defiance. Others were converted from cargo ships and mining vessels. Every ship that could mount weapons and carry crew was being prepared for war. On Mars, General Marcus Chen supervised the construction of the largest defensive system ever built. Weapons platforms surrounded the red planet like a metal moon. Gun batteries on the surface could fire at targets in deep space. Underground bunkers protected millions of civilians who had moved to Mars to help with the war effort. If they break through the fleet, this is where we make our stand, Chen told his officers. Mars will be the fortress that protects Earth. The general had fought in wars on Earth, but never anything like this. Fighting other humans was hard. Enough. Fighting aliens with unknown weapons and unknown tactics would be the greatest challenge any military leader had ever faced. Commander. Kate Sullivan ran the intelligence operation that tried to understand the enemy. Her team intercepted alien communications, studied their ship movements, tried to figure out how the Galactic Confederation really worked. They're not as united as they pretend to be, Kate told Admiral Stone during one of their daily briefings. We've identified 12 different alien species in their fleet. Some of them use different technologies. Some of them communicate on different frequencies. I think some of them don't even like each other very much. This was valuable information. If the alien alliance had weak points, human forces might be able to exploit them. Kate's team worked to identify which alien species were the leaders and which ones might be convinced to change sides. Captain. Alex Turner still patrolled the edge of the solar system in his ship, the UES Horizon, but now his job was different. Instead of watching for asteroids, he watched the alien fleet and reported their movements back to Earth. "They're getting restless," he told Admiral Stone during his daily report. "More ships are arriving every week. They're also moving closer to our planets. I think they're getting ready to attack." Stone had expected this. The aliens had given humanity 30 days to surrender. That deadline had passed months ago. Humans were taking so long to give up. The answer came in a message from High Arbiter Zexthron. The crystal alien appeared on screens across the solar system, its voice still sounding like broken music. "Humans of Earth, your time for surrender has passed. We are disappointed that you have chosen to resist instead of accepting our guidance. We see that you are building weapons and preparing for war. This is exactly the kind of dangerous behavior that proves you cannot be trusted with freedom." The alien paused, and light reflected strangely off its crystal body. "We will give you one final chance. Cease your military preparations and submit to Confederation authority. If you refuse, we will be forced to take action to protect the galaxy. From your aggression, you have 7 of your days to decide." When the message ended, Admiral Stone looked around the command center at her staff. These people had worked without rest for 6 months. They had built the strongest military force in human history. They had prepared for a war that might destroy their entire species. "Well," Stone said finally, "I guess we know what they think of our answer so far." Commander Morrison, her second-in-command, spoke up. "Admiral, should we send a response?" Stone thought about it. She could send a diplomatic message. She could try to negotiate. She could ask for more time or try to find a peaceful solution. Instead, she turned to the communications officer. "Send a message to all ships and stations. Tell them to prepare for combat operations. The aliens want our answer in 7 days. We'll give it to them." The command center erupted in activity as officers sent orders across the solar system. The human fleet began moving into battle positions. Weapons systems powered up. Marines checked their equipment one last time. Humanity's answer to the Galactic Confederation would not be sent in words. It would be delivered in fire and steel. And the stubborn courage that had carried humans from caves to the stars. The aliens had asked for surrender. They were about to learn that humans had a different word for impossible situations. That word was opportunity. The alarm bells rang through Earth Defense Command like angry metal birds. Admiral Rebecca Stone ran down the cold hallway, her boots making sharp sounds on the floor. Something big was happening. The emergency call had woken her from sleep at 3 in the morning. She pushed through the heavy doors into the main control room. Dozens of people sat at computers, their faces lit up by blue and green screens. The room buzzed with nervous energy. Everyone was talking at once.
What do we...
Have Stone asked Commander Jake Morrison. He was her second-in-command, a tall man with gray hair who never got excited about anything. But today he looked worried. We got a signal. It came from deep space, way beyond our solar system. The weird thing is, it hit every one of our stations at the exact same time. Earth, Mars, the moon bases, even the mining ships near Jupiter. All of them got the same message. Stone felt her stomach drop. "Show me." The main screen lit up with strange symbols that hurt to look at. Then the symbols changed into English words. The voice that spoke was not human. It sounded like music made of glass and metal. "People of Earth, I am High Arbiter Zexthron of the Galactic Confederation. We have been watching you for 50% of your years. We have made a decision about your species." The voice paused. In the control room, nobody breathed. "You humans are too dangerous. You fight too much. You grow too fast. You take what you want without asking. This cannot continue. We are giving you 30 Earth days to stop all travel beyond your home system. You must shut down your colonies on other worlds. You must accept our control over your actions. If you refuse, we will stop you ourselves. The message ended. The room stayed quiet for a long moment. Play it again, Stone said. They watched the message 5 more times. Each time it felt more real and more terrible. Dr. Lisa Carter came into the room carrying a tablet computer. She was Earth's top expert on alien life, though until today, aliens had been just a theory. Admiral, I've been studying the signal. This isn't some joke or trick. The technology behind this message is far beyond anything we have. They broadcast on frequencies we didn't even know existed. They broke through our security like it was made of paper. Stone nodded. What else can you tell me about them? Being in the message, this sextron has a crystalline body structure. Notice how the light bends around it. That suggests a silicon-based life form, probably from a high-gravity world. The way it speaks shows they've studied our languages for a long time. Commander Morrison pulled up star charts on his screen. Admiral, we're already detecting movement out there. Long-range sensors show large objects heading toward our solar system. They're not waiting for our answer. The next few hours passed like a bad dream. Stone called President William Hayes, who called the leaders of every nation on Earth. The Global Defense Council met in emergency session. Representatives appeared on screens from around the world, all asking the same questions. Was this real? What could they do? Should they surrender? Colonel Patricia Vance spoke for the military. She was a short woman with iron in her voice. We've fought wars against each other for thousands of years. We've survived plagues, asteroids, ice ages, and our own stupidity. Are we really going to give up now because some crystal aliens told us to stay home? President Hayes looked tired. Patricia, they might have weapons that could destroy our entire planet, but we have to think about the survival of our species. Mr. President, with respect, survival isn't just about staying alive. It's about staying human. And humans don't bow down to bullies, no matter how big they are. Meanwhile, Captain Alex Turner was floating in the command chair of his ship, the UES Horizon. His vessel was the farthest human ship from Earth, patrolling near the edge of the solar system. His job was to watch for asteroids and comets that might threaten the inner planets. Now, he was watching something much worse. Captain, you need to see this, said his navigator, Lieutenant Sam Brooks. We've got contacts coming in from deep space. Big ones. The computer says they're ships, but they're huge. Bigger than anything we've ever built. Turner studied the readings. How many? At least 50, sir. Maybe more. They're still too far away to get exact numbers. Turner felt cold. The alien ultimatum had reached his ship just like everywhere else. Now the aliens were backing up their words with action. Back on Earth, engineer Maria Santos worked in the secret underground laboratories beneath Cheyenne Mountain. She had spent 3 years building humanity's most classified project. Nobody called it by its real name. They just called it Project Prometheus. The project was simple in concept, but nearly impossible to build. Humanity needed warships that could fight in deep space against unknown enemies. The ships had to be fast, tough, and carry weapons that could work in the vacuum between planets. Maria had been working slowly, carefully, testing each system. The alien ultimatum changed everything. She had 30 days to finish work that should take 2 years. We need more power, she told her. Team, the aliens probably have energy shields. Our weapons have to hit harder than anything we've ever built. Her assistant, Dr. Kevin Walsh, looked at the blueprints. Maria, if we push the reactors this hard, we might blow up our own ships. Better to blow up fighting than to live on our knees, Maria said. 3 days after the alien message, Admiral Stone stood before the United Earth Assembly. Representatives from every nation sat in the Great Hall, their faces showing fear and confusion and anger. Stone looked out at them and thought about what to say. These people represented 7 billion humans. Whatever decision they made would affect every person alive and every person not yet born. Members of the assembly, she began. 3 days ago, we learned that we are not alone in the universe. We also learned that our new neighbors don't like us very much. They want us to stay in our solar system like animals in a cage. They want us to shut down our colonies and accept their control over our lives. She paused, looking at each section of the assembly. I'm here to tell you what our military can do. We can fight. We can build ships and weapons. We can train soldiers. For a war unlike anything in human history. But I can't tell you if we can win. A representative from Brazil stood up. Admiral, what are our chances? Stone thought about lying, about giving them hope with false numbers. But these people deserved the truth. Honestly. Very small. The aliens have technology we can barely understand. They've been traveling between stars for who knows how long. We've barely made it to our own outer planets. The representative sat down. Others began to murmur among themselves. Stone raised her voice. But I'll tell you something else. Humans have never had good chances. We weren't the strongest animals on Earth. We weren't the fastest or the biggest. But we're still here, and the dinosaurs aren't. You want to know why? Because when something threatened us, we didn't run away. We picked up rocks and sticks, and we fought back. The assembly grew quiet again. The aliens sent us an ultimatum. They expect us to respond through diplomatic channels. They think we'll send negotiators and try to bargain. But I'm here to tell you that humanity's answer won't come from diplomats. It will be written in fire across the stars. Our response will be delivered by warships. The vote was closer than Stone had hoped, but it was enough. Humanity would fight.